In Alpine, New Jersey, there is a large Gothic stone tower. Locals call it the Devil's Tower. According to legend, it was built in the early 1900s by a plantation owner named Manuel Ruanda. He built a large mansion for his wife, and he also built her the tower so she could look out over the New York City skyline. One night, his wife was looking out the tower when she saw Manuel with another woman. The wife was so distraught to discover that her husband was cheating on her that she immediately jumped off the tower and fell to her death. Manuel was devastated and wrecked with guilt, and he had the mansion demolished. The tower was supposed to be torn down as well, but the plans had to be scrapped when several workmen mysteriously fell to their deaths. Manuel just moved away and left the tower locked up and abandoned. Rumors began to circulate that the tower was haunted, and many people reported hearing strange noises as they passed by. Others spotted a shadowy female figure lurking in the tower's windows. They say that if you go up there at night, you might catch a glimpse of the ghostly apparition of the wife jumping from the tower, or hear her disembodied screams as she plunges to her death. As years went by, locals started calling it the Devil's Tower, and they said it was cursed. According to legend, if you walked backwards around the tower 6 times at midnight, the devil would appear. The members of a strange and twisted satanic cult became obsessed with the Devil's Tower, and they congregated there at night to hold black masses and worship the devil. They also carried out bloody rituals in which they would sacrifice animals in honor of the devil. During the day, children who lived in the area would find the gory remains of disemboweled cats and dogs. The leader of the satanic cult had a very special sacrifice planned for Halloween night. He wanted his followers to murder an innocent young girl and offer her soul up to the devil. The crazed cult members began staking out the local high school, searching for a victim. They set their sights on a teenage girl named Laura, who happened to be the homecoming queen. When Halloween arrived, the cult members were waiting outside the high school in a black van. After classes ended, they watched Laura say goodbye to her friends and start walking home alone. Driving very slowly, they followed her in the van, making sure to keep their distance. Just before Laura reached her home, the black van suddenly sped up and swerved in the front of her, blocking her path. The doors flew open, and the cult members jumped out. They grabbed the frightened teenage girl and threw her into the back of the van. After tying her hands and feet with rope and gagging her with dirty cloth, the van sped off. That night, while trick-or-treaters went from door to door collecting candy, the police went from door to door asking if anyone had seen Laura. Nobody knew what had happened to her. Her worried parents combed the streets, but they couldn't find any trace of her. It was as if she had disappeared into thin air. The next morning, some kids who were playing near the Devil's Tower stumbled across a horrible scene. Inside, the walls were splattered with blood. What remained of Laura's mutilated body lay on a cold stone slab. Her heart had been cut out. Her internal organs were scattered around the floor. The police searched everywhere for the members of the satanic cult, but they were nowhere to be found. Not one of the cult members were ever seen alive again. Ever since that day, they say that if you go to the Devil's Tower on Halloween night, you will see the frightening apparition of a young girl dressed in a bloody gown, emerging from the mist and begging for somebody to save her.